I'm excited to be here because this kind of political engagement put on by a student group on the college campus is rare nowadays, and it's critical. Our generation has an all-time low of voter turnout among young people. We are frustrated because of the lack of solutions in our current political system, and so we become disengaged. And because we're disengaged, things get worse, and we get more disengaged and more frustrated. And yet, we have unique, long-term perspectives on issues like education and global warming that are necessary in political discussions. I saw it when I was on the Amherst School Committee when I was 18. As far as I know, I'm the only school committee member to date who met with every student group at the high school representing marginalized groups. And I got their input on issues like racial justice, women's rights, queer rights, relevant to our schools. And they were talking to me about systemic change that they needed for our schools, things that the school committee wasn't thinking about at all. I have a vision for Massachusetts legislature where systemic issues are at the forefront of discussion and action. My vision is to make the Amherst area a center for clean energy technology and clean industry. I have an idea that I'm fleshing out very specifically already for a new center based at UMass and in coordination with industry and other colleges to do research and the development and demonstration phase for clean energy technologies like batteries, like solar cells, that we need to solve climate change. And we can be the place that invents these, and we can be the place that is patenting them and creating new businesses here, selling these technologies around the world. It's like the one technology that's guaranteed to have a multi-billion-dollar industry in the next few decades. As a junior in college, I founded a statewide campaign to put a price on carbon pollution and get a fee on fossil fuels when they came into the state. I worked on that bill in Massachusetts, and then I wrote the legislation and founded the campaign and led it in Rhode Island. And I'm going to push for it to pass in Massachusetts if it hasn't already by the time West gets to the legislature. This is something that we can start in Massachusetts. Massachusetts starts all the big things, from American independence to abolition to healthcare. And this is something we can do. I'm intimately familiar with an economic study that showed just how many thousands of jobs carbon pricing would create for our state. This is actually an economic development and economic equality bill. This bill would give dividends to every Massachusetts resident, and this means that low-income families, though they pay a higher percentage of their income on energy, they pay a lower total amount than richer families. And because everyone's getting an equal amount, this actually would mean that low-income families would get more back in the dividends than they pay, even in the increased costs. And at the same time, we'd be reducing our reliance on imports of fossil fuels. So this is something that is, I'd say it's the second most important thing in solving global warming. The most important thing is developing revolutionary breakthrough clean energy technologies, and that's something Massachusetts can do on our own and can really solve the issue for the entire world. I agree, there's a wonderful sense of agreement here. The difference that I see for me is that I am young and energetic, and I'm going to get things done now. I have experience in working in the White House, working in Congress, working in the Massachusetts and Rhode Island legislatures. I wrote school committee policy that passed. I lobbied for bills that have passed. I have created bills that are just started but are moving forward faster than most legislation does. So I know how to get things done in the legislature, and yet I come at it from this perspective of being an outsider, being a millennial, and I can see the ways that we can push more bold legislation, system-level changes that we need. We can really think big here. We can really push the bolder ideas. And I've seen young people be effective. I worked with someone who was elected 2 years out of college in Rhode Island and came in his first 6 months, got an increase for the minimum wage of tipped workers, and he's our champion for the carbon pricing bill that I wrote in Rhode Island. Young people can be very effective in getting things done in the short term and working for longer term change in the legislature, and I will do that for you.